channel. Hope you're doing great. Buckle up and strap in. We got a good one for you today. Man, this stuff's insanity, right? Insanity. If you're going through anything like what I'm going through, man, prayers for you. My gosh. I thought I was a praying man before this happened. Well, I'll tell you what I was, but man, I've never prayed like I've prayed going through this. This is insane. Like I said, if you're going through anything like this, I don't care what you're afflicted with. If it's got you to the point where you're just, everything's changed for you, I feel for you. So today we're going to talk a little bit. This is such a rabbit hole, isn't it? I'm like at probably month 4, 5, 6. Like I don't even know. I know it was well before Christmas of last year. It's probably at least good 5, 6 months that I wasn't feeling good, and then I just got really, really sick with an oral infection through a tooth surgery to kid coming home sick with the flu, the bad one, the one that locked us down apparently, and then sinus infection, and then the body, the nervous system just went haywire. And man, off to urgent care, and they just, I was a guy that went for a checkup once a year, maybe. Body didn't feel good here. I drink some extra water, work out a little harder, you'll be fine. I usually kind of could soldier through it. But this one, I tried my best. I gave it my best to the point where I was a puddle on my primary care physician's floor saying, get me admitted, something is wrong. And I had tried to go to urgent care. I tried to go to ER more than once, both. And always couldn't find anything. Labs, x-rays, scans, EKG, you name it. I'm like, how can I feel this bad and have nothing show up? So I had a lot of medications, because when you're that compromised and you're that uncomfortable, you're willing to do just about anything to feel better. That's what I've noticed with this. And I've chased down a lot. I mean, my primary care physician, I got him on email, and I blow up his inbox way too much, to the point where he's finally is like, I think we need to start talking about medication. And he actually wanted to put me on Lexapro. And I was like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. And I've always had friends maybe depressed on antidepressants. I was always kind of like, just come on, man, suck it up, But I feel like if you're severely clinically depressed or whatever the case may be, there's probably a good place for that. And I was basically there. I'm like, I'm ready to start talking about that. I'd like to talk to you first, though, because I don't really want to start anything that I'm stuck on. I don't want anything to dumb me down or change the way, I think. So I kind of gave some pushback on that. And I have this I wouldn't say a bad habit. Maybe it's a good habit. Yeah, let's call it a good habit. Like when I was placed on antibiotics, I started feeling weird. I'm like, screw this, I'm off of these. And I guess that's it's a no-no. Then, he would give me this med, I'd start them. It's not working, I'm off. I have a thing about starting and stopping. And I've done this with Western medicines and now naturopath, both. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about today, where I'm currently at. Now, as you can tell right now, as I'm speaking to you, I feel halfway decent. I was just talking to my business partner, and this is the thing, like I'm in a hoodie all day long. Basically, my house is my hospital. This is probably what you'll see me in most of the time when I record. This is just my house gear, basically. I'm like my pajamas, man. And so I'm talking to my business partner, and he's like, dude, I told him, hey, dude, I don't know what's going on. I'm really sick. At first, I thought it was the tooth infection. Then a bunch of x-rays that got cleared. And they're like, no, it's not that. And I'm like, well, it's infected. Then I was COVID and sinus. Yeah, you have a cyst in your sinus and buildup, and here's antibiotics. Say you have a nice day. And so I was sharing that with my business partner, and he's like, bro, we need to get you on some antifungal, some anti-candidas. We got to get you this. We got to get you that. We got to go stay away from Western medicine. We're going to go naturopath. I need you to go see blah, blah, blah. And so he was a rock star and started bringing me all these supplements, right? So, and I felt a little bit better about taking supplements because I felt like they were, I don't know, they weren't a pharmaceutical. They were more organics being used, right? But I guess you got to be careful. But it's because he was so knowledgeable, everything he recommended and gave me, I felt safe taking, right? My only concern was as I was bombarding my body, now I went from bombarding it with all kinds of antibiotics and everything else to now all these vitamins and supplements and this. And I was lost in it. And I wasn't feeling any better. And I think that's where I'm going with this today. That's what I really want to communicate is if this is you, and I don't care what your illness is, if it's just chronic fatigue, I don't even know. That's the hard part for me. I finally came to the conclusion this has to be long haul. Somebody told me, have you heard of long haul? No. Showed me a clip about, I'm like, well, God, they're describing my symptoms. Ears ringing, everything, the body just don't feel right. Months after getting a really bad cold. And so I chased it back. I'm like, well, I had that really bad cold, and now I feel like this. But there's like 400 different symptoms, and there's clinics now popping up all over. But here's the thing. What I've noticed is my body gets very agitated. Flare-ups, I guess is what we call it. We have a lot of flare-ups. Sometimes they will flare 24/7, it seems like. Sleeping is a big challenge for me, especially with the ear ringing. Lately, I've been waking up with the ears ringing. That's not good. There is one sleep medication I did take because I'm like, I need a full night's sleep. They're like, you have to get a full night's sleep. If you're not going to take all these other meds, just at least take this and get some sleep. So I'm like, okay. Being a little groggy, but that one I was like, I might lean on it. But I was lost in a sea of meds, and I felt like I was getting absolutely nowhere. And if you start scouring the internet the way I do, every test result, come Google, see what that was. Every, searching, recovery from this, recovery from that, this medicine, that supplement. Oh my God, I was becoming more agitated. I was lost. And I saw this one kid, Eric, talk about his journey in 3 phases. And first phase is the worst, and it's the hardest thing you're ever gonna do. And then it gets to baseline, and then by 3, you don't kind of get back to where you don't even realize you're sick again. Man, wouldn't that be nice? Boy, I'm a praying for you and me on this one. Insanity. So anyway, then there was these guys, the 2 healing dudes. I think I saw them on. There's this one channel out there. I forgot her name. A nice lady interviewing a bunch of people. But this has turned into really big business. Really big business. But one of the things that I listened to a doctor that she had as a guest who's doing one of these clinics, and she's completely checked out from Western medicine, has gone completely holistic approach for the most part, as far as I'm aware of, like life coach stuff. And I'm really gravitating towards that now, only because I've tried the Western medicines. I've tried the supplements. And I think supplements is something I might continue to use because it might have some actual benefit to the body because there's organics in it. Not to say the right pharmaceutical couldn't do the same thing or have some huge benefit. But if they can't find what's wrong with me, I'm not going to throw pharmaceuticals if there's no diagnosis that calls for it. If we're just treating symptoms, I'd rather just give it nutrients. So today I'm taking something called Candibactin, and look it up if you want. And it's 3 times a day, once with each meal. And I think apparently it's better for your gas. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Better for your intestinal and your digestive, and because if you've bombarded it with a bunch of other things, keeps it clean. And then I just went to ibuprofen. I'm just on ibuprofen. My ears are ringing right now. They've been ringing since I woke up. It's really weird because everybody wants to say, oh, you have tinnitus. Well, maybe, but I don't know. For some reason, this thing goes away. But then when I have a flare up, it comes with the flare ups. So now I've utilized mindset techniques for many areas of my life professionally. Now I got to do it more and personally, but now I got to do it physically. And of course, spiritually. Spiritually is the biggest, right? We got to, if you're a believer, if you have a spiritual belief, I mean, that's ultimately, and that's been really hard because you're like, why? I'm like, why? Why? It's all that. But today, my main point is now where I'm at, about 4 months. As you can see, as I talk to you today, I'm probably not. I've dropped weight. I haven't been able to work out in months. I don't feel as sharp as I'd like to look for the camera, but it is what it is. It's now about this. I have other channels where when I was looking sharp, they're very big and successful, and I've had to take a step back. Now it's time to just do what I know how to do, and that's talk. It's so important to talk about these things because I don't know about you guys. Doctors, they're just, after you go in like this big mess and they run tests, they're just like, well, sorry, see ya. Some act like they care, but only unless you're going through this, you don't know. And friends and family, my world has gotten very much smaller now. So that's what I really wanted to talk about. I believe, and that's one of the things I saw this Eric kid say is, he took some vitamins. He's like, basically, it's just going to take time. But I think more than time is a great healer. We know this, but we've seen a lot of people delay their recovery because they ruminate and fixate on symptoms. And it's really hard when they flare up not to. And that's where I'm at right now. When they don't flare up, when they flare up, I tend to do that. So I liked something I heard is you got to kind of learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. We got to kind of just, if you've been diagnosed, we're all going to have our day. It's not like we could cheat death, but it's like when it's sudden like this and you're just not ready. And I don't even care if it's not sudden, gradual or otherwise. It's just one of those things. Sometimes it can be a little bit freaky, even if you're a believer. Now that's where I started questioning the level of my belief, because if I'm so worried. But it's more about just your life now got flipped on its side, and learning how to now navigate to get yourself well and putting everything on hold. That is the biggest hat trick. We will talk about that one moving forward. But where I'm at now, currently, I've tried a lot of Western medicines and I've tried a lot of supplements. Now I'm going to stick with one supplement, try it, the Candibactin. I don't think it's recommended for any of this, maybe, but it's certainly not going to hurt. And an ibuprofen to maybe if I'm having flare-ups, to just as an anti-inflammatory, because the body's it's in some kind of fight, so it's like inflamed. Try to control a little bit with that, and then of course just try to breathe, meditate, get up, walk around a little bit. Like I can't do my big walks, but I can certainly walk around the house. I can get up, I can do something, and just bite off little chunks at a time. A venture out to the store was big for me today. I wasn't feeling great. I had to soldier through it. But the mind is connected to the body. And I believe now that's where I'm going after trying Western and supplements. Now it's time to take this thing and put it to work. And that'll be our journey moving forward. Stay tuned as we continue to have the conversation. If you have any information that would be useful or would like to comment, please drop it in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe. Give the video a like, try to get it out to more people. And we're going to just do our thing, and we'll see you on the